So imagine you're on a beach and all of a sudden you see the shoreline suddenly recede. So did the sea level fall or did the land level actually rise instead?
Welcome to another episode of Science and Research in Singapore. Today's guest is a geoscientist, Gina.
Hi!
Alright Gina, so let's jump right into your fascinating work. You study earthquakes using corals. How is that a thing? What is the link?
So coral microatolls are very specific corals and they record something called relative sea level. So imagine you're on a beach and all of a sudden you see the shoreline suddenly recede. So did the sea level fall or did the land level actually rise instead? So that's the concept of relative sea level. It records both changes in the sea level and as well as the land movement. These coral microatolls grow in the intertidal zone and are very sensitive to low water levels. And so when an earthquake happens and the land suddenly rises, the surface portion of the coral dies, and this records when an earthquake occurs.
So do you look at living or dead corals? Are there any signs on the corals to show when exactly the earthquake happened?
So I look at both living and fossil corals, but our fossil corals can give us a longer story of when earthquakes occurred. So the corals grow like tree rings, and so they have an annual band every year. And so when an earthquake happens in the middle of the coral growth, we can count back how many years that earthquake occurred and determine the timing of the earthquake. And for fossil corals, we can use geochronological age dating techniques, including radiocarbon or uranium-thorium dates.
Gina, your research sounds extremely important. Why do you choose to study this region?
So a lot of my research was conducted and is based in the Philippines, specifically on the western coast of Luzon Island. Offshore of that area is a massive subduction zone system called the Manila Trench. These subduction zones can produce really large earthquakes, and in this region, specifically in northwestern Luzon, no earthquake larger than a magnitude 7.8 has been recorded in the last 300 years or so. If a large earthquake happens maybe on timescales of hundreds to potentially thousands of years, it's very likely that there may be seismic hazard we don't understand in the area. And so people need to be prepared for any earthquakes or potential tsunamis.